Hello, it's Jennifer. It's April 28th, a Friday. Today I'm out in the garden the day before Santa Ana is supposed to come. So what this means for us in Southern California is high winds coming from the desert and high temperatures. So this is kind of a double whammy for folks with garden. The temperatures are hard enough to keep the plants adequately watered and happy so they don't burn up, but adding the wind makes things even worse because the wind causes water to evaporate quickly and the wind can do damage to plants. Particularly to tomatoes, they can sustain wind damage. So today I'm going to take some steps to protect my plants before the Santa Ana comes. My main concerns are these two tomato plants, which are tall and their tops are basically unsupported. And so just in the slightest wind, they already tend to move and bob. I've tried to weave them at the tops, but that doesn't seem strong enough to keep these from moving, even in a gentle breeze. So I need to figure out some way to support these so that the wind doesn't damage them tonight. My other concern are these two tents. So last time we had wind, these two tents collapsed. So I staked this one down on two sides and then added these wrist weights on the other side, but these wrist weights are definitely not going to keep the tent from moving in 35 to 15 mile an hour winds. So I'll have to find some other weights or some other way to keep this side of the tent from moving. Same here. I think what we'll end up doing is probably staking down the ends and hoping for the best. I've already taken steps in general to prepare for the hot summers here in San Diego. So for instance, I've mulched my tomato beds. And this is to protect them from the heat of the sun and also to keep the moisture in and to regulate the temperature of the soil so that it doesn't have too many fluctuations from day to night. I found this helped a great deal last year, so I've done it again this year. I also have already installed these shade cloths over my peppers and over some of my newer eggplants. And the same thing with the bug and shade tents. These are meant to protect my plants from the summer heat. Going to do both. That is to put in a couple just to put in a couple of stakes over here, and then to zigzag some either tape or some twine to help stabilize it in this direction. I'm not worried about this direction because the plant is pretty well pegged into position. The lesser sweet Japanese is not as top heavy as the brandywine, but so it doesn't sway as hard in the wind, but it is not constrained in both directions, so it moves this way and it moves this way. So I will have to stake it both ways to stabilize it in this direction and in this direction. I also may cut off some of these top branches to lighten the load on top. And I'm going to stake this little guy unless the wind gets really high speed, the simplest thing to do with the greenhouse is to just zip it up for the night. If the wind starts while the sun is still out, I'm going to have to take the plants out and zip it up. I can't leave the plants in this heat. It easily gets over 100 degrees even with the door and the windows open. The other thing you need to do when hot weather strikes is to give your little garden friends some relief. So I left out this water so they can drink it and use it as a bird bath. Basically, if you don't leave something out for them to drink, they will find something in your yard that's full of water to eat or poke their little beaks in, particularly the hummingbirds, and suck the juice out of. So last year I ended up with several nearly ripe tomatoes with little beak pricks from the hummingbirds where they had come to the tomato and sucked out some water. So leave them some water. Make sure your hummingbird feeder is full, although tonight I'll probably take that down because the wind will knock it over and that wouldn't be a good thing. If you have plants in containers or grow bags that can be transported like this one, it might be a good idea to put these in the garage during windstorms. So that's what I'll do with this one tonight, is I'll put it in the garage. These two plants here, my pepino and my ground cherry, actually moved so they could be under the sunshade for the rest of the year, so they don't get all the harsh sun from our Southern California summer. I also have some general yard cleanup to do, such that things aren't around that can be blown over and knocked around the yard. So I've got quite a bit of work to do early evening to clean this up. Right now I really shouldn't be outside because the UV levels are really high. So I finished staking everything up. What I did was I added this rope to the end middle stakes that are careful to do the weeding, which I didn't successfully do. But what I did was create a bounding box around this tomato to constrain it in all directions. Then I put in these two 8-foot stakes and bound them with some Velcro tape to the stems, such that the forces oppose each other. So now, yeah, there's a little bit of wind, but at least you can see that the other plant, I simply hooked it into find the end of the stake, and it's already on to this room, and that seems to have fully constrained it. It can move a little, but as you can see, it's not moving a little. I also confined some bigger branches on both plants to the roots, so those also provide support for the plants as it fruits and branches. Although I'll probably keep the plants in those big rather than try to let them grow more. Anyhow, so that part of the yard project is done. Now I need to figure out what to do about my tents. So the wind is starting to really get kicked up now, and I'm preparing to end the day. I took the plants out of the greenhouse and now they're sitting out here. Hopefully they're low enough that the wind won't hurt them too badly. The tomatoes are secured. The greenhouse is closed up for the night. I've staked down the tents here, and I added extra weight over here on the other end of this tent. Stake down here, stake down. I've cleaned up my area, so there shouldn't be any risk of anything blowing around. The tomato beds seem to provide some support for the tomatoes in the wind, so while the tops may be blowing around, the rest of the plant seems to be stable and secure. sunflowers so they don't blow around too much. I'll untie these when the wind stops. And cross my fingers tonight and hope that no big gust comes through and ruins everything. But everything's looking pretty good tonight. Oh, I need to take down the perimeter here. And we'll see how everything looks in the morning.